Seeing as we've got the time, want to tell the rest of us about you and your buddy Sephiroth?
Sure. If Tifa doesn't mind.
Me? Yeah, no problem. It's
It all started 5 years ago. I was 16 at the time. There was hardly any work for soldiers back then. And what little there was boring as hell. My heart wasn't in it. Then, out of nowhere, the job of a lifetime came. A mission with Sephiroth. I couldn't believe my luck. It's really coming down, huh? Hey man, feeling any better? I'm good. Sure don't look it. Wish I could help, but never been motion sick. Sorry, man. Ready to do this?
Yeah, you bet.
Hey, rein it in.
Sorry. No can do.
Kids.
Say, I'd like to be briefed on the mission at some point. Because if it's another one of those Turks gigs, you can let me off right here.
Really?
Finally make first, and what do? Call a ceasefire with Wutai, stealing my shot at glory. I didn't join Soldier to be an errand boy. I joined up so I could be a hero, like you.
Well, our mission is to survey a rundown reactor. Another one of those Turks gigs.
Fine. Job's a job, I guess. Where is it?
Nibelheim.
Nibelheim? That's where I grew up.
Got some fiends in our 12!
Let's go. You take one, I'll take the other. Wait in the truck.
No way! I got this!
I wonder what the logic was behind having you play as Sephiroth here, because, I mean, he's an important character and he was present for this, but in the original game, you didn't play as him at all. You played as Cloud, and Sephiroth was there, not under your control. Perhaps they're trying to humanize him a little bit more. I think it's also possible that, like, he's not actually the antagonist in this reboot.
He was in a different league from the rest of us.
Nibelheim. That's where they built the first reactor. Right?
Yeah. It all started in the fall. Something was wrong with the reactor, and the whole village was up in arms. Talk of strange new monsters on the mountain only made things worse. People were scared, desperate,
The villagers tried to take care of the monsters themselves, but it was no good. Ended up calling Shinra. So the company sent help. Best they had.
Home sweet home, right? Tell me, how does it feel? I have no home, so I wouldn't know.
You still got parents though, right?
A mother named Genova. She died shortly after I was born. My father,
Whoa there! Genova? Like from the Shinra building?
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm getting to that.
why am I talking about this? Come on, let's go.
Hope I didn't keep you waiting. I'm Xander, the mayor here. I wanted to greet you myself, to welcome you to our humble little town. Please, if you'll follow me.
Consider yourself off duty till sundown.
Now, I'm not entirely sure what of the audience for this game is, of course, people who played the original game, but nowadays that audience itself isn't really large enough. I think Final Fantasy VII sold something like 10 million copies, but a lot of those copies were sold in the later years, probably the people who owned the original. So let's say perhaps there was something like 6 million copies sold on the PlayStation 1, which is still a shitload. But you gotta think that was nearly 25 years ago now? Actually more than 25, closer to 30 years ago now. So how many of those people are still playing games? How many of those people are still willing to buy a new game in the series? How many of those people are willing to buy a remake of that game? So they are trying to market to a larger audience, people who didn't even play the original game or understand the story points. So now most people playing the game are going to have at least heard the fact that Aerith was dead. What many of them are probably not going to understand, though, is that Cloud's delusion over this moment in his life where he sees himself as Zack in Zack's place during this mission here. Now, fans of the original game, of course, know that you are playing as Zack, not playing as Cloud, even though Cloud thinks it's him. And we'll find that out much later on in the story. Probably not with even in... Considering where this chapter is supposed to end, Cloud probably won't even realize it by that point. So, if they're trying to expand to a larger audience, they kind of have to sort of sit on the fence with it. Instead of just giving these really overt signs like, yeah, we all know this is Zack. Let's not screw with your intelligence. They are playing it straight. Cloud telling the story like it's him. Tifa reacting to it as though... Cloud telling the story as though he thinks it's him. And maybe some little reactions here and there from Tifa or some weird inconsistencies within the story or anything like that to kind of hint at the reality of it, what is going on here. Anyway, here's Cloud's mom. Oh, no, that's Tifa's house. It's kind of annoying that they make you take these things in a certain order. But, you know, what is it? Yeah, what are you going to do?
Then I stop on my mom's. Not that it matters.
Sure it does. I know I want to hear what happened.
Me too.
Yeah. Go on.
My dad died when I was a kid. So after I left for Midgar, she was on her own. It was the first time we'd seen each other in 2 years. First time and lust.
I'll be right there. Cloud, is that you?
Hey,
Welcome home. Come in. Let me get a good look at you. My. So that's what they've got you wearing, huh? You soldiers sure do clean up nice. I've never been so proud. The man you've become. Women must be hounding you day and night.
not really.
You know, there's all kinds of temptations in the big city. I'd feel a lot better if I knew you'd found a good girl. One who'd make sure you didn't get into trouble.
I can take care of myself.
An older, more mature girl that could keep you on the straight and narrow and tell you when you're being a silly goose. That's the perfect type for you, I'd say. They are feeding you properly, aren't they? Oh, Cloud. But you know, Cloud. Wouldn't you agree, Cloud? You're my son. Of course, I'll always be.
Okay, that's enough.
In the original game, Cloud didn't remember too much about his encounter with his mother. Probably because that encounter had a lot of, inconsistencies with what he remembered or the way he imagined the whole Nibelheim incident went. So, him showing up not wearing a soldier uniform, him admitting to his mom that he didn't make soldier, all that kind of stuff. He can't, that cognitive dissonance inside of his head was just too much. So, for large parts of that memory is just sort of unavailable to him.
So, how did it feel being back up there?
I don't know. Nostalgic, I guess? After 2 years away and all that.
Uh-huh.
I guess in the original, it would make sense that Cloud did want to go and see Tifa. And even though he didn't make soldier like he said he would want to see her anyway. So they're demonstrating that, having him climb this water tower and sitting up there and thinking about the time that he had spent with her up there. And okay, I guess I'm going to go and do this. And then run over to her house. Or, not.
Huh? You went to my place?
I figured you might be there.
Wait a second. You two were neighbors?
We were, but it's not like we hung out that much.
We had our reasons.
Our reasons, huh? Bet most of them had to do with you.
Remember my cat?
Her name was Fluffy, I think?
Yeah. She was always disappearing, and that day was no different.
It seems as though Tifa is kind of testing him in places. Do you remember my cat? It's seeing if he remembers the cat's name. There's also an inconsistency I don't much care for here. How Barrett asks, you two were neighbors? And she goes, yeah, we didn't see each other much. That's wrong. If this is trying to, in some way, stay with the original story, Tifa was under the delusion at this point in the game when they're in the comm, and Cloud's reciting the story. She is under the delusion that her and Cloud were very close friends. So I don't know if that's just a plot hole, or if that's, signaling something greater in the narrative. Things are different here.
You went into my room?
I did.
Did you actually play it?
Thought about it, but no.
You went through my stuff? If that's your idea of a joke, I'm not laughing.
Yeah, me neither.
Come on, Cloud. I know you're better than this.
Of course, Cloud is supposed to be younger here. So this is 5 years before the start of the game. Cloud is, in the game itself, Cloud is 21, Tifa is 20, Aerith's 22, whatever. So the characters are younger. But Cloud's behavior does seem a little bit strange. Of course, Cloud based a lot of his demeanor, the way he responds to people, all that kind of stuff, on the way that he perceived Zack would. But we are seeing a fairly different personality out of this flashback Cloud, which is supposed to be Zack. Especially with like the way he was talking in the truck. He was much more personable, outgoing. He was going out of his way to engage in conversation with these people, whereas Cloud, especially in Remake, I haven't gotten far in the Rebirth, of course, still on the second episode, where he's much more reserved. He sort of tries to put forward like a tough exterior, kind of stoic, as opposed to Zack, who, I don't know if he was acting like he wanted to be seen by everybody. But he definitely did, because he, just like Cloud anyway, he seems to have joined Soldier trying to get attention. But he seemed to revel in attention a lot more than Cloud did. Anyway, here's the hotel.
A soldier.
And you are?
Richard Sangan, a humble traveler of the world, and teacher of martial arts to the youth. Well-toned, but lacking mass. You need to bulk up.
Who asked you?
You could learn a lot from me.
Pass.
Don't be shy. I have many pupils your age. At last count, 128. In fact, one of them's from this very village. Perhaps you know her. Tifa.
Sure.
A real talent, that one. She'll go far.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right?
Got anything to say for yourself?
I didn't know.
Of course, Cloud is a little bit of an asshole, but they are grilling him a little bit too much here.
Didn't really notice at the time, but looking back, all the signs were there. From the moment we arrived, Sephiroth just wasn't himself. What you looking at?
This landscape.
Huh?
I could swear I've seen it before.
You okay?
Big day tomorrow. We'll be leaving bright and early. You should get some rest.
All right, will do.